Tonight, APC leaders gather in Owerri to flag off the party's governorship campaign as the vice president rallies Imo citizens to support Governor Hope Uzodimma's re-election bid in the state. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, asks President Bola Tinubu to personally clear the air over issues on his identity and credentials, which have generated controversy in the polity. And chairman of the body of benches, retired Justice Mary Odili, appeals to new lawyers to honor the sanctity of the legal profession at the 2023 Call to Bar ceremony in Abuja.
On Business News tonight, IMF Chief Kristalina Georgieva rules out debt cancellation for emerging countries, says institution yet to recover from exposure during the outbreak of COVID-19.
On Sports News tonight, top seed Carlos Alcaraz dumped out of the Shanghai Masters in the round of 16.
From Abuja, the nation's capital, address the needs of young women. United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, urges government at all levels as Nigeria marks International Day of the Girl Child.
And in international news from London, Gaza's only power station has run out of fuel as Israel's siege on the area continues.
Politics is top on the news today, with the governorship elections in Imo, Bayelsa and Kogi states holding exactly a month from now. The gladiators are ramping up their campaigns ahead of the polls. Well, let's begin in Imo State, where the All Progressives Congress today flagged off its campaign in Owerri, the state capital, with the president reiterated his full support for the re-election bid of Governor Hope Uzodimma. President Bola Tinubu was represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima at the event, which was also attended by the party's national chairman Abdullahi Ganduje, APC governors and former governors of Imo State Ikedio Hakim and Roche Sokorocha, among others.
It's a carnival of some sort as indigenes of Imo State as well as supporters of the All Progressives Congress within and outside Imo State converge on the Dan Anyam Stadium in Owerri, the Imo State capital. They are here for the campaign flag-off of the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate for the November 11 poll in the state, Governor Hope Uzodimma, and his running mate Chinyere Ekumaru. The prominent personalities arrive in a motorcade conveying the Vice President Kashim Shettima, the APC governorship candidate Hope Uzodimma, and his running mate Chinyere Ekumaru, APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje, some APC governors and former governors and federal lawmakers. Taking their turns, the leaders speak on the need to re-elect Governor Hope Uzodimma for a second term in office, maintaining that there is no vacancy in the Imo government house.
The excitement in Imo State is palpable. I can see the joys in your faces. He has developed and performed in infrastructure. We see all the roads in Imo State. You are going almost on the polls. We are not going to rest on our arse. We are still going to work from ward to ward and to every local government.
Yes.
Go and spread the news that Regain Hope is ready to take Imo to the next level. Everything you can think of, Hope has brought hope back to the great people of Imo State.
The national chairman of the APC says for the November 11 election, the only party Imo people should vote for is the APC.
Consolidation will lead to sustainability. Sustainability will lead to progress, and progress will lead to prosperity.
The APC governorship candidate promises to improve on his achievements in the first 4 years if re-elected.
I want to thank you for the support, and I want to assure you that I will not take your support for granted. I will improve on the performance. I will do better than I have done. And by the grace of God, we will have a new Imo State where equity, justice, transparency will be the order of the day.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, reiterates the support of the Tinubu-led administration in ensuring the re-election bid of Governor Uzodimma.
I want to reiterate that the President is solidly 1,000% behind Governor Hope Uzodimma. We hold him in the highest esteem.
The flag has been handed over to the governor for his re-election.
Earlier, upon arrival, the Vice President and other important personalities paid a courtesy visit to the chairman Imo State Council of Traditional Rulers and also commissioned a link road in Owerri North local government area of the state. With the election about 1 month away, Imo residents are hoping that the exercise will be peaceful.
In Bayelsa State, Governor Judiciary of the People's Democratic Party has once again stated that he is not at loggerheads with the APC as a party, but against the character of its governorship candidate. Governor Judiciary, who was canvassing for votes in Ogbia local government area of the state, urged the people to vote for the PDP in the November 11th governorship election.
For 3 days, Governor Judiciary of Bayelsa State has been in Ogbia local government area, visiting several communities, and at every stop, he is welcomed by residents who assure him of their votes during the November 11 governorship election. In Otuasega and Kolo communities, the people appreciate him for keeping the promise he made.
During the flood, when he visited Ibama, we took him to where exactly the flood was, and he saw the civic center. Nobody asked for it. He just saw it and said he's going to complete it and renovate the site that is good. And right now, the job is going on.
See Elebele Bridge. Now who do am? Emirigi Bridge. Now who do am? Waiting on I want again. Oh yeah, oh. On the 11th, everybody will vote
The traditional ruler also gives the governor and the PDP campaign team his royal blessings.
We are happy that you are here and will always be ready to receive you. We bless you on this your political journey, and we want to assure you that we all are behind you.
Prominent political leaders from the area are not left out as they also advise their people to vote for the PDP.
There is one thing we know how to do best, and that is how we can put all our votes in one basket. That basket, as we speak, is already standing.
Today I'm saying that Judiciary is God's answer to the journey prayers of the Bayelsans, and he's here to deliver and continue to deliver. It's our choice. He's taking us to Israel. Let's not go back to Egypt. Okay, give him all the votes. On the 11th of next month, what you have to press is what? Umbrella.
Governor Judiciary describes the November 11 election as a battle as he takes a swipe at his opponent.
The man who says a road from Yenagua to Nimbe is not economically viable. Is that the man you want to trust?
The campaign tour of the state continues for Governor Judiciary as he hopes to visit all the local government areas in the state to convince the people on why he's still best suited for the top job in Bayelsa State.
Away from campaigns, the last may not have been heard about the controversy surrounding the authenticity of the president's certificate from the Chicago State University. The latest to join the debate is the Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, who is asking President Bola Tinubu to reintroduce himself to Nigerians. Mr. Obi, who addressed a news conference in Abuja today, says that by virtue of his occupying the highest office in the land, the president no longer has a right to privacy regarding his identity.
Having followed a prolonged identity crisis that recently played out in the American court system and the controversy surrounding the authenticity of the Chicago State University credentials of Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I must confess I'm distressed as a Nigerian. Uninformed outsiders now see every Nigerian as a fraudster, certificate forger, or identity thief. I therefore respectfully and humbly call on him to immediately and personally mount the rostrum of his present high office to perform a simple task once and for all time. He should reintroduce himself to the nation he governs and to the world for avoidance of further doubt. He should let the world know his name, his nationality, his place of birth, his parentage, the primary and secondary school he attended with dates, as well as the actual universities he attended and certificates obtained. He should indicate clearly where and when he did his national youth service.
Meanwhile, the ruling All Progressives Congress APC has replied Mr. Obi, saying President Tinubu neither has an identity problem nor does he need to reintroduce himself. According to a statement by the party spokesperson, Mr. Felix Morka, the over 8 million Nigerians who voted for President Tinubu know whom they voted and his academic performance. He adds that the Chicago State University had stated in its deposition that the president attended the school and graduated. And also speaking on our political program, Politics Today earlier, the National Secretary of the party, Senator Ajibola Basiru, asked Mr. Obi to instead wait for the outcome of the suit, which he filed at the Supreme Court.
The registrar of the school admitted that Mr. Bola Tinubu, not Miss or Miss Bola Tinubu, attended Chicago State University. For any decent human being, I think that put paid to the issue. There were also evidence from Chicago State University that there were different formats for which diplomas are issued. And as far as the American system of education is concerned, they don't place premium on, what they call diploma, which is covered certificate. They actually place premium on transcript. And they release also the transcript of Mr. Bola Tinubu. And they also said in testimony under the position that the person they are referring to is none other person than person who is sitting as the president of Federal Government of Nigeria. The misadventure of Chicago, let us Nigerians know, was to show that Mr. Bola Tinubu did not attend Chicago State University. Also to show that if anybody attended Chicago University is a female. When those are now filled, the argument they are saying is that the font and the character of the certificate has differed. That there was one font in 1990, there was one font in 2000. For me, the issue is, did Bola Tinubu, was he a student at Chicago University? Two of his classmates, one of them who contested student election with him, deposed to an affidavit, and yet you're asking him to see your identity. What I think is done, and happily enough, in a matter of weeks, the Supreme Court will decide on their election petition. They are just saying these things because they are bad losers. The president is busy dealing with serious matters rather than irreverent comments and the argument ad absurdum by losers and perennial losers at election. So I wouldn't, dignify such people with a response, and I wouldn't want the president, I wouldn't advise him to even, think a bit about responding to them.
The governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Lagos State, Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour, has filed his notice of appeal before the Court of Appeal, Lagos, challenging the decision of the State Governorship Election Tribunal, which upheld the return of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The notice of appeal, which was settled by one of his lawyers, Olagbade Benson, on behalf of 12 others, was filed on Saturday, October the 7th, and has 21 grounds of appeal. The 24-page document has been served on the council to the respondents, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the governor and his deputy, Obafemi Hamzat, as well as the All Progressives Congress, APC. Channels Television's judiciary correspondent, Shalashi Ali, obtained a copy of the notice of appeal, which states that the appellant, being dissatisfied with the decision of the tribunal, appealed to the Court of Appeal. And in part two, after the break, the court convicts 2 pipeline vandals for the 2015 murder of 7 operatives of the Department of State Services in Ikorodu, Lagos State. But that's in a moment. Stay with us. Well, welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Channels Television. Here's a reminder of our top stories. APC leaders gather in Owerri to flag off the party's governorship campaign as the vice president rallies Imo citizens to support Governor Hope Uzodimma's re-election bid in the state. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, asks President Bola Tinubu to personally clear the air over issues of his identity and credentials, which have generated controversy in the polity. Chairman of the body of benches, retired Justice Mary Odili, appeals to new lawyers to honor the sanctity of the legal profession at the 2023 Call to Bar ceremony in Abuja. And the only power station in the Gaza Strip runs out of fuel as Israel's siege continues in the Palestinian enclave. The Lagos State High Court sitting in Ikeja has convicted 2 members of a group of pipeline vandals for the 2015 murder of 7 operatives of the Department of State Services DSS in the Ishawo area of Ikorodu in Lagos. Justice Hakeem Oshodi, in his judgment, held that the Lagos State government, which is the prosecution in this case, proved the offense of conspiracy to commit murder, and possession of firearms with intent to commit a felony against the first defendant, Clement Ododomu, while the second defendant, Tiwe Monday, was convicted for conspiracy to commit murder and failure to report a felony. The court, however, adjourned the sentencing of the convicts to November the 14th. The prosecution had told the court that in September 2015, the DSS received a distress call about an alleged kidnap. The DSS subsequently dispatched a 9-man rescue team, which was ambushed by the vandals and taken captive. 2 of the DSS operatives managed to escape, but the remaining 7 were later shot dead. Staying with the Judiciary, the chairman of the body of benches, Justice Mary Peter Odili, is urging new lawyers to always uphold the ethics of the profession and desist from acts that could portray the legal practice in bad light. Justice Odili gave this charge to the new lawyers at the Call to Bar ceremony, where she further asked the lawyers to use their new status to champion the cause of justice and the rule of law in the country. Our Judiciary correspondent, Emmanuel Kelly, reports.
New lawyers ready for their introduction into the Nigerian judicial system. 1,083 of them who successfully completed the July 23 bona fide examinations and 12 candidates from the previous call are participating in this ceremony. They are accompanied to the ceremony by their families and friends. Members of the body of benchers, led by its chairman, Justice Mary Peter Odili, file into the hall. Those in attendance include the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, past justices of the Supreme Court, the Attorney General of the Federation, the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, and senior advocates of Nigeria.
I hereby admit each and every one.
The chairman thereafter admits the new wig into the bar. Justice Odili charges the new lawyers to be proactive as society expects much from the profession.
We must live above board as the public expects no less. When the public repeatedly see the justice system fail, the people's confidence in the law will decline. Therefore, if you see the system failing, propose changes in the laws or changes in the rules.
Earlier, the Director General of the Nigerian Law School, Professor Issa Chiroma, gave a breakdown of the final bar examination, promising to uphold the standard of the bar.
Today, the Nigerian Law School has had to sustain its enviable growth and development for 6 decades to the admiration of many. The importance of Nigerian Law School in manpower training and development for our country cannot be overemphasized.
The body of benchers authorities lay its plans for the new weeks.
What we are emphasizing on now is mentorship, because we have seen over the years that a lot of the junior lawyers really do not know their way about the profession, how to navigate
the various complicated avenues.
Most of those who are being called to bar are very young, and therefore they are promised to the future of this country. My advice to them is be patient, be diligent, and be professional.
The body of benchers is hoping to admit the next set of wigs in the first quarter of next year. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
Now for more on the news at 10, let's head over to our Abuja studio where Gloria Mizoke is sitting by with more. Hello, Gloria.
Well, thank you, Coyote. As Nigeria joins the international community to celebrate the 2023 International Day of the Girl Child, the Deputy Representative of UNICEF in Nigeria, Mrs. Ronak Khan, is seeking more commitment from the government at all levels to address the needs of girls and women. Speaking at an event to mark the day in Abuja, Mrs. Khan explains that adolescent girls should face no constraints in realizing their full potential.
It's another time to celebrate girls, and this time, schoolgirls, development partners, and government officials are converging on this hall to deliberate on how to make life better for girls and women. The theme for this year's celebration is Invest in Girls' Rights. A report by UNICEF shows that there are 25.8 million adolescent girls in Nigeria, with 7 million of them out of school. However, development partners are pledging their commitment to protect and empower young girls.
Here in Nigeria, the United Kingdom has demonstrated over decades of partnership that we are a genuine and enduring partner to grassroots organisations and other allies, old and new, including UNICEF. Through these partnerships, we reaffirm our commitments to putting girls and women at the centre of our operations and our investments.
Let us take an action to ensure that girls are at the centre of all the discussion, but keeping an eye on the most vulnerable girls. The girls' voice should guide everything we do, and we really need to create space for girls to lead and amplify their voices.
The wife of the governor of Kwara State is the chairperson of the Nigeria Governor's Wives Forum, and she is optimistic of the future of the girl child, while encouraging girls to put in their best to achieve their desires towards nation building.
Don't let any sector be a taboo for you, and try and do all that you can to represent girls well, to represent women well, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the future, right? So I look forward to looking at the TV one day and saying, I know her. You know, I knew her when she was 12 years old, and I know you can do it.
The past 10 years has seen young girls affected by conflicts, forcing them out of schools. For some others, poverty and child marriages have limited them from achieving their potentials.
The parents won't want to be in trouble actually with the girl, so they don't want to be in that trouble of having the girl kidnapped or having them harassed in any way or molested in any way. So the government should actually give space for more education to girls, and then security should also be tightened.
With more commitment from government at all levels, issues affecting young girls in Nigeria can be reduced to the barest minimum.
In other stories, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has ordered the demolition of the scavengers colony on the road corridor cutting across Mabushi, Jahi and Kado districts of the FCT. Mr. Wike gave the order when he visited the area, officially known as Road N12 in Mabushi district. He described the colony located behind the minister's quarters as a threat to the security of the city. The minister, who was accompanied by a combined team of security personnel and senior officials of the FCT administration, said that efforts would be heightened to rid the city of criminal elements. In the Bauchi state, Governor Bala Mohammed has been speaking on the successes and lessons of his first term in office as he unveils his plans going forward. Outlining the direction of his administration for the next 4 years, the governor said he is dedicated to implementing impactful projects for the benefit of the people. He stated this during a retreat attended by commissioners, special advisors, permanent secretaries, and caretaker chairmen of local government areas.
The three-day retreat of the Bauchi state government serves as a platform for reflecting on the achievements, challenges and lessons learned from the previous term. The retreat brings together political appointees, civil servants and other stakeholders to brainstorm and discuss the administration's working document tagged My Bauchi Project. As the event proceeds, the chairman of the occasion reminds participants of their crucial role in realizing the Bauchi dream, emphasizing that their performances will be regularly monitored and evaluated.
Members of the government are required to work as a team. Teamwork requires that members are bound by common objectives and share common vision and values and operate at a similar wavelength. One of the goals of retreat of this nature is precisely to share the vision, mission, and values of the government and to create some bonding between colleagues who will find themselves in the same boat for the next 4 years.
Governor Bala Mohammed takes the floor and reaffirms that his vision for the state remains unchanged. He, however, says the strategies to achieve these goals have been reviewed to align with current realities.
In spite of the enormity of the challenges faced, considerable progress had been made, especially in completion of hitherto abandoned projects across the state, provision of massive infrastructure across the key sectors, and the provision of needed intervention to alleviate the consequences of negative shocks faced within the years. We enhance the working condition of our civil service and breathe new life into our traditional institutions.
This gathering sets the stage for future successes with an outlook towards a more robust and efficient government. Hajara Ali, Channels Television News.
Well, still ahead on the news at 10, International Monetary Fund's chief rules out debt cancellation for emerging economies. That's in business news. You'll join us again.
Everything is fast-paced. How do you remain?
I need some money for groceries. Dad, the cable TV subscription expired.
What if I told you the key to being unstoppable is now at your fingertips?
Uncle, wait. Uncle, have you forgotten I'm going back to school today? Thank you.
Oga, I beg no forget plumber money.
Oga, we need to buy fuel. Don't let petty transactions limit you. Download the First Money Wallet app or dial *894*1# on any mobile phone and live unstoppable.
Enjoy the unlimited life with First Money Wallet. Dial *894*1# on any mobile phone to activate now. You first. First Bank.
Wow! 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 No sleep. Arise Walk for Life is 15. Yes! And the theme is Step Up! That's right. So come on, put on your joggers and trainers and join Dr. Shitu Iluyamade on a preventive health work. Let's go!
Is here. Take over. You know what time it is?
It's your day. Come, improve your aerobic fitness and reduce the risk of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and cancer. Step up. You can do it. Intensify your physical and mental health. Develop preventive health behavior. Join the Arise founder, football stars, movie stars, technocrats, the political class, business magnates, and the market women. Everyone is walking for life. Wherever you are, you can join Arise Walk for Life. From Lagos to Brasilia, Toronto to Kano, Washington, D.C., Cape Town, Benin City, Jerusalem, Atlanta, Johannesburg, Kaduna, Ouagadougou, Abuja, Montenegro, and Jalingo. Arise Walk for Life 2023 will feature football legends, horse racing, golfing, biking, boat cruise, and the villagers. Date, Saturday, October 14th, 2023. Venue, all clusters in every country across the world. Time, 7 a.m. Arise Walk for Life. Step up, because the women are coming.
The Duchess International Hospital opened its doors in October 2021. The mission of the hospital is to reverse medical tourism. We take particular care here at the Duchess to bring together a combination of the brightest and the best locally, as well as Nigerians in the diaspora who are interested in returning to do very good work for the benefit of our patients here in this country.
The good thing is that we have all international expertise here, all international facilities here, international people working here. Everything is coming together in a space which was considered not great in terms of the availability of healthcare.
Axis Bank, of course, has been able to provide us with a robust range of products and services that has enabled us to deliver that standard and quality of healthcare that is integral to our mission as an organization.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. No fewer than 100 bandits are said to have been neutralized by airstrikes of the air component of Operation Handarin Daji in Maru local government area of Zamfara state. It was gathered that the bandits were seen moving in their large numbers from a forest in Zamfara state to Kebbi state with the intention of attacking villages within the area on Tuesday. However, the bandits received information about troops' presence along the route, which forced them to withdraw to the Dansadao axis of Maru local government area of Zamfara state. The Nigerian Air Force, however, engaged and targeted the terrorist groups and neutralized 100 of them, while several others sustained various degrees of injury. A mass burial of the slain terrorists was reportedly conducted in Sangeko Forest in Niger State and Babandoka in Maru local government area of Zamfara state. Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you, Coyote.
Well, thank you, Gloria. And it's more appointments by the president, who has approved the appointment of new chief executive officers for agencies and parastatals under the Ministry of Communications. Well, according to a statement from the presidency, President Bola Tinubu approved the appointment of Aminu Maida as a new executive vice chairman of the Nigeria Communications Commission and Tola Odeyemi as postmaster general of the Nigeria Postal Service, NIPOST. Also appointed is Nkechi Egertinide as the managing director and CEO of Nigeria Communications Satellite Limited, that's NIGCOMSAT, while Vincent Olatunji is picked to head the Nigeria Data Protection Commission, NDPC. Meanwhile, the president has reappointed Kashifo Inowa Abdullahi as the CEO of the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASAN, is calling for a transparent and all-inclusive process in the divestment of the assets of oil majors operating in the country. The president of PENGASAN, Mr. Festus Osifo, made the call on the third day of the PENGASAN Energy and Labour Summit in Abuja. He maintains that it is imperative to ensure that Nigerian companies buying the assets are capable of running them and treating its workers with dignity.
Local content in the nation's oil and gas sector is the focus of discussions on the third day of the Energy and Labour Summit, organized by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASAN. Oil majors are divesting their assets in the country, and the Labour Union states its position on the process, as well as the privatization of the refineries.
A lot of the assets that we have divested, before now, we've seen a situation where SPDC or share companies in Nigeria have divested some of their JV assets. How have they been managed? So the greatest problem we have with these people is how they treat Nigerians. So if an expatriate could come from the US, from France, from everywhere, and they treat Nigerians fairly, we prefer it to even our own, who will treat us like trash. We were shocked that Bureau for Public Enterprise did an evaluation of those refineries, and what they brought, that is the value of that refinery, I could tell you that truthfully, what they value the 4 refineries cannot even build half of one of the refineries today. Because they wanted to sell it to their friends, they wanted to sell it to their cronies, they undervalued the refineries. So it was based on that strength that we said, no, you cannot throw away our national asset because you have vested interest. You have to fix it. After fixing it, then you could now bring about the NLNG model.
The keynote speaker is the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Mr. Simbi Wabuti, and he explains some of the gains and challenges of the divestment process.
The challenge of access to latest technology, especially if the new investors lack the technical expertise or has no support from original equipment manufacturers or technology proprietary owners. Divestment can also result in job losses, no doubt about that, as new owners of the assets may choose not to integrate all or some of the staff of the old owners of the asset into their own company or operations. These are some of the negatives associated with divestment.
As the 3-day event comes to an end, Pengassin plans to reward the winners of its national essay competition, drawn from across secondary schools in the country.
Not necessarily because of pay.
The Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Lokpopiri, has affirmed the commitment of the present administration to boost the capacity of indigenous companies operating in the oil and gas sector, while he also expressed his satisfaction with the activities of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. He stated this while on a 1-day official visit and tour of the NCDMB facility in Yenagua, Bayelsa State.
The Minister of Petroleum Resources, Oil, who also serves as the chairman of the Board of Directors of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, Mr. Heineken Lokpopiri, arrives the NCDMB Towers in Yenagua, Bayelsa State capital. He meets members of staff of the organization, after which he is ushered into the boardroom to begin his engagements with the board of directors and other members of staff. After several meetings and interactions with them, he assures them of his preparedness to prioritize staff welfare while applauding the brilliant initiatives carried by the NCDMB management team.
As Minister and as Chairman of this board, I want to assure the staff that I'll prioritize staff welfare. As we prioritize staff welfare, we also be demanding so much from you. You know that not even in free time will you get a free lunch. And so as we prioritize staff welfare, also be prepared to give your best.
Next, the minister inspects the firefighting unit of the NCDMB, where the firefighters showcase their skills to the minister. From there, he proceeds to the NCDMB crèche. The visit ends at the Nigeria Oil and Gas Park scheme in Emeya 1, where the Executive Secretary of the NCDMB, Mr. Simbi Wabuti, updates the minister about the level of work as well as the expected date of commissioning.
We are optimistic that first quarter 2024, we will get this facility commissioned.
And we're going to, support, the board in any way that we can to ensure that this is completed within time, so that we'll be able to, make this facility available to those who want to, manufacture, different, products, not only for the oil industry, but for the entire economy, and create jobs, for our team and people.
With the work so executed at the Nigerian Oil and Gas Park, the minister believes manufacturing activities will commence at the park as soon as it's inaugurated early next year.
Culture, protein malnutrition could be a thing of the past in Nigeria and indeed Africa, with the introduction of a dual-purpose breed known as Noila birds in poultry business. Amel Farms Sibera Hatchery Limited, which is the brain behind the initiative, says over 1.3 million rural households now have the birds, while an estimated 2.5 million are expected to have them by 2025. The Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, who visited the farms at Akinyele and Awe towns in the state, is happy with the feat and promises to work with the local government to make their roads better for access.
Amo Farms Sibera Hatchery Limited has a vision to be a leader in the day-old chicks market through exceptional services that will guarantee profitable poultry farming. After years of research, promoters of Amo Farms say the company has come up with products that can positively impact humanity across its 28 branches nationwide.
We have been very encouraged by the success achieved with Noila, and we intend to continue to have 20 birds in 2.5 million rural households by the year 2025.
One of the major outcomes of years of hard work is the Noila birds, genetically modified to produce value-added protein in meat and eggs sold to consumers.
This bird, was developed, genetically improved, and is able to, perform well in your local rural environments, and is able to have yields that are more than the African breeds of chicken.
After a facility tour, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde is excited about the prospects and opportunities that could stem from this venture, promising to encourage investors by fixing the road leading to the farms.
When we visited the Akinyele facility, where they're doing the packaging of their chicken, you can see that the road wasn't in the best shape. We said, okay, to support them, we'll tell the local government, Akinyele local government, they should go ahead and grade that place immediately.
Amo Farms has an ambitious plan to get poultry products to at least 2.5 million households in the next 2 years in a quest to stamp out protein malnutrition in Nigeria and other African countries.
We have gone ahead to make our presence felt by empowering over 1.3 million rural households in Nigeria through 6,600 mother units.
With a staff strength of about 2,700, Amo Farms says its dream is to meet the protein demands of the country and beyond with a Noila variant of poultry birds.
We'll have more business stories for you on the news at 10 with Joke Rogers.
Business news. The International Monetary Fund has ruled out debt cancellation for emerging countries. Managing Director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, made this announcement today at the meetings of the Bretton Woods institutions in Morocco. Her comments indicate that poorer nations may not get relief on their debt burden, as the fund is yet to recover from its exposure to the COVID-19 virus. Meanwhile, the IMF's Deputy Director in Public Affairs Department says tax evasion and concessions are also rampant among African countries. He said preventing tax evasion could generate up to 2 to 4% GDP, depending on the quality of enforcement. The federal government has approved the elevation of the National Lottery Regulatory Commission, NLRC's annual gaming conference to international standards in order to attract more foreign investments and inflow of resources to the country. This is contained in a press release issued by the Director General of the National Lottery Regulation, Lanre Gbajabiamila, in preparation for the 2023 edition of the conference scheduled for October 31 and November 1st at the Eco Hotel and Suites Victoria Island in Lagos. According to the Director General, the approval also became necessary to attract more players and foreign investors. And from there, we head to the local stock market, which gained more than 63 billion naira at the close of today's trading session amid more buying sentiments from investors. Laddie Williams has more in this report.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report, where it looks like we're having a ping-pong movement in the market this week. Monday was green, Tuesday red, and now the midweek session gives us a green close. And back above the 67,000 level, 0.17%, up market cap 36 trillion. Let's look at the activity chart today. We see it's just volume in the green compared to yesterday. We're seeing more volume there. Values lower, 4.45 billion, and we have lower deals today, also at 5,637. Let's look at the sectoral performance. And yeah, banking again, another big hit today, 0.27% down. Oil and gas stays unchanged, and we see consumer goods marginal decline, 0.001%. A slightly positive market breadth, 18 stocks posting gains, including heavyweights like Boa Cement, adding 2% to its share price, while 17 stocks declined. Well, that's how your money performed today. I'm Ladi Williams. Bye for now.
That's business news tonight. Kayode, back to you.
Well, thank you, Joke. The head of the U.S. House of Reps Foreign Affairs Committee, Michael McCall, says Israel was warned by Egypt of potential violence 3 days before Hamas's surprise assault on the country. But Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has described such suggestion as totally fake news. Here's Simon Pusey with more international stories and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Gaza's only power station has run out of fuel as Israel's siege continues. Earlier this week, Israel announced it was cutting supplies of electricity, fuel and water. Fighting is continuing between Israeli forces and Hamas. Here, 2 women narrowly escaping after being caught in a crossfire between the 2 sides near kibbutz. Pope Francis has called on Hamas to release all hostages while expressing grave concerns about the total Israeli siege imposed on Gaza. Palestine's health ministry says 1,055 people have been killed and more than 5,000 injured since Israel's retaliatory airstrikes began on Saturday. Meanwhile, officials say at least 1,200 people have died and 2,900 others have been injured in Israel. Another earthquake has hit western Afghanistan just days after 2 large quakes in the same region killed more than 1,000 people. The new 6.3 magnitude quake struck around 28 kilometers north of the city of Herat. More than 100 were injured and sent to hospital, health officials said. The wider impact is not yet clear, but many were sleeping in the open after their homes were destroyed on Saturday. Aid agencies have said there is also a shortage of blankets, food and other supplies. Vote counting is underway after polls closed in Liberia's presidential and parliamentary elections on Tuesday. People in the West African nation are voting to elect the president, members of the House of Representatives and half of the Senate. The incumbent president and former footballer George Weah, who's seeking a second term, is the favourite against 19 rivals for the presidency. Damage to the Baltic Connector gas pipeline was caused by quite heavy force. That's according to Estonia's defence minister, a day after Finland said it could have been the result of deliberate action. The Baltic Sea pipeline and a telecommunications cable connecting Finland and Estonia were damaged on Sunday. On Tuesday, Helsinki said the damage was likely caused by outside activity and that the cause was being investigated.
I think this is a very stress test for the alliance. We know that we're talking about critical infrastructure of 2 NATO countries, and if this is indeed a sabotage by another state, then it's a serious thing for NATO and the alliance, and this is something that should be addressed within the alliance. How do we create a deterrent? How do we do better protection and surveillance of maritime infrastructure?
A hurricane described as extremely dangerous has made landfall on Mexico's Pacific coast. Hurricane Lydia hit Mexico as a Category 4 storm, bringing wind speeds of up to 140 miles per hour. But the storm has weakened after moving inland, with the U.S. National Hurricane Center downgrading it to a Category 2 status. The journalist Chung Lei has returned home to Australia after more than 3 years of detention in China. Here pictured smiling with Australia's Foreign Minister Penny Wong at Melbourne Airport. The 48-year-old was working as a business reporter for China's state-run English-language TV station CGTN when she was arrested on the 13th of August 2020. She was later accused of illegally supplying state secrets overseas. Her charges were never made public.
Her return brings an end to a very difficult few years for Ms. Cheng and her family. This is an outcome that the Australian government has been seeking for a long period of time, and her return will be warmly welcomed, not just by her family and friends, but by all Australians.
And a 104-year-old Chicago woman who jumped from a plane 1 week ago in what is believed to be a new world record for the oldest skydiver in the world has died. A week ago, Dorothy Hoffner left behind her walker to do a 13,500-foot tandem leap from an airplane at Skydive in Illinois. Hoffner was met with a huge round of applause once her feet returned to solid ground, even though the centenarian herself didn't see what all the fuss was about. The Guinness World Record group attended Hoffner's jump but has not yet completed the process of certifying it. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Let's do it again is a new adopted battle cry of the Super Eagles of Nigeria as they aim for a 4th Africa Cup of Nations title in Cote d'Ivoire next year. Nigeria won in 1980 of AFCON on home soil, the 1994 edition in Tunisia, and the 2013 finals in South Africa, which is why they want to sustain the mantra when they take on Saudi Arabia and the friendly in Portugal on Friday and Mozambique on Monday. That's it on Sports. Coyotes, back to you.
Well, thank you, Jeffrey. And the main news again. APC leaders today gathered in Owerri, the Imo State capital, to flag off the party's governorship election campaign as Vice President Kashim Shettima rallied Imo citizens to support Governor Hope Uzodima's re-election bid. And that's the news at 10 for tonight, everyone. Thank you for watching. I am Coyote. Have a wonderful night rest.